So can you tell us what you're making today, James?
So we're going to be making some steak strips.
Okay.
Alright, so we're going to just go ahead and cut up the steak. If you see, I've got some faturations through my steak, is what you're looking for. The higher fat content helps tenderize the steak and leaves it moist as you cook it. Alright, so just in strips.
Can you show me how small it is, like this strip?
They're really thin, about
Come down a little bit.
really thin, not too thick.
All right, thank you. I think it should be fine.
You want to make sure the pieces come separate. If not, if they're still being held together by ligaments and stuff, when you cook it, you're just going to have a clump of meat.
Alright, so I have my fiance cut up the meat for me because it's not my favorite part to do. So I let him do that part. But I have the meat soaking now. And while the meat is soaking in some lime and water, we're going to go ahead and cut up the vegetables that we're going to use to put inside of our rice and our meat. I like to use green and red peppers, but honestly, is what you prefer. You have green, yellow, orange, whatever you want to use. Alright, so we're going to cut them up in some strips, thinly, as you can see. You know, I'm not a professional cutter, so bear with me.
Does it matter which color you use for the bell peppers?
No, it doesn't matter. You can use whatever color you want.
Okay.
I just prefer the green and the yellow. Why? I don't know. I just feel like they have a better flavor to it, to it. So,
okay.
But whatever makes people happy. It's the same thing. And I make sure I use every part I can of the pepper, even the butt part. And the reason why I'm using 2 whole peppers is because I'm splitting it between the rice and the meat. But if you're just going to cook the meat with, let's say, white rice, you don't have to worry about using 2 whole peppers. You can use half of each. And there's nothing more beautiful than seeing these vibrant colors together from the vegetables. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start moving on to the onions. Normally I would use 1 whole onion, but since these are small, I'm going to use 2. So I'll break them in half and half for the rice and then for the meat. Peel off the skin from the onions. Make sure it's all removed. Sorry. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and cut up these onions. However you prefer. There's no method on, you know, how specifically you need to cut them. Listen, the flavors will be just the same. I just prefer to do it this way. And I mix it all in one bowl, and people will ask, how do you divide it? Normally, I will use more of the peppers and the onions in the in the steak that I'm gonna cook, more than the rice. So I use maybe 75% of this in my meat. All right. And obviously, fresh cilantro is always the best. Cilantro gives that extra element of flavor into your food. And I don't chop it up too thinly because I enjoy the taste of cilantro in my food. So it doesn't have to be perfectly chopped up. You just don't want like really big chunks. Okay. Pull that over here. That smell of the cilantro. Can you smell that, Norma?
Yes, smells good.
Alright, so you can stop right there. So as you can see here, I have separated all my seasonings, the oil that I'll be using. Here I have garlic powder, onion powder. I have chicken bouillon. Some people would prefer the yellow, the green. You have other ones, but I like the green one most of the time.
Yeah, that's the chicken one.
Yes, the chicken bouillon. Then we have the kosher salt, black pepper, some fresh oregano that my grandma grind up for me, that I love. Then I'll use the sazon Goya, the red seasoning with con cilantro y achiote. And then some red crushed peppers, which I'll add later on. And obviously you can add it towards your heat if you want to add some at all. And I have some olives. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the oil. Just put that in there.
How much oil is that? Roughly how much?
Half a cup.
Okay.
Yep. And just let it get warmed up. Before you put the meat over it. Give it like a minute or two. Oh, you can pause it, I think. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and get the meat in there. Don't be afraid.
Is it on medium or high heat?
Right now I have it on medium because this specific stove has very high fire.
Okay.
So I have it in a medium. So now we're gonna go ahead and start throwing the seasonings in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the garlic powder. This is a tablespoon. Yes, a table is 1 tablespoon. Normally I start off with 1 tablespoon of each thing. Then we have garlic, same, 1 tablespoon. Then we have salt, again, 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of black pepper. Then this one I use 2 teaspoons of oregano because oregano has a very strong flavor. So you don't want to overwhelm the meat. And then 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon. Let's get it all in there. And start mixing the meat. And just let it cook down a little bit before we throw in the vegetables. You know, the peppers, the onions, cilantro. Alright, so now we're gonna put the heat a little bit higher so it can start cooking quicker. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the sazon, the red seasoning. As you can see, it's red. So I'll go ahead and put half of the sleeve in there. Alright, and then I'll just save the other half for later. We're gonna go ahead and mix it. As you can see, it's starting to change color. But not only that, you're giving it more flavor.
And now it's on high heat, right?
Yes, it's on high heat now because you want the water to start drying out. And now I'm going to grab some pepper flakes. Excuse me. Some pepper flakes. Because I like to give it a little heat. And obviously add it to your, your tolerance of heat. I start off with a little bit, and as I go, I'll taste it. And if I want to add a little bit more heat, then I'll go ahead and do that. And obviously, same thing with salt and pepper. If you feel that that's something that you're missing as you taste along, you can go ahead and add a little bit more, a little tap here and there. Okay. Alright, so I like to add olives because I grew up having that in my food, basically all my food. So it's not something that you have to do. I just do it because I just feel that it looks pretty. It makes the food look pretty. And some people like to eat olives, so why not?
And can you use any olive?
Yeah, any olive you want. I normally like these, the Goya ones. Alright.
Yeah, I see the pretty color.
Yeah, so now I'm going to start adding the vegetables. As you can see, the water's drying out a little bit. You see like the little oils are coming out. And it's the oils from the meat too, from the fattiness of the meat. And once it starts to dry out a little bit, you let it slow cook because it makes it very tender.
So you fried it for maybe about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, I fried it, for about 10 minutes. So now we're gonna grab the vegetables. We're gonna add some cilantro, some onions, you see how beautiful the colors of the vegetables over the meat look. And remember I said that I like to use most of my vegetables on the meat than the rice. Alright, so we got that going. Let's go ahead and start. Look how beautiful that looks. I love to see the bright colors of the vegetables in your food. And you can see that the meat is starting to dry out a little bit. So that means we're going to start cutting down the fire and let it slow cook.
So you're going to go to medium or low?
So I will go to like a medium. Okay. And just let it slow cook for a little bit. And since it's drying out quick, I'm going to go ahead and add like half a cup of water.
Okay.
Because remember, you want the meat to be tender. Okay. That's slow cooking.
And do you cover it or you can just leave it open?
I usually leave it open so it can dry out faster.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it already has enough water to dry out.
Okay.
And then it'll, like the evaporation from having the lid on it causes more water. So here we go. You can see it looks very beautiful and bright. And then I'll grab some tomato paste. I'll add like 2 spoons of it.
About 2 teaspoons?
Yeah, so if you can just grab a regular spoon. That's usually my measurement because I grew up this way. So I just grabbed like 2 spoons of this.
Okay, so that is 2 teaspoons.
Yes, and what it does, it helps cut down on salt on the meat if it's a little salty. And not only that, it'll also help thicken the gravy, which a lot of people like thick gravy when it comes to their meats. And we're just gonna keep turning. And now we're gonna go ahead and cut down the fire to a medium, like a low medium. And we're gonna come over to the meat. As you can see, has cooked down a lot. And I think it should be fine now. We don't have to add any more water. And we're just gonna let it continue to slow cook while the rice is cooking as well.
So Ramonita is gonna start plating the food.
All right, so we start off with the rice. Okay. Get the rice up in there. And we go over to the meat. Sorry, it's just, get it in there. You see all that gravy? Sorry, it's just that I'm not using my 2 hands, so it's making it difficult. But you see how the gravy goes over the rice? Then we'll come over to the plantains. Grab a few of them. Okay. Let me put this down for a quick second. We're gonna get some salad and put it in there. Sorry, the tomato wants to get stuck to the tweezers. I mean to the serve here. Sorry. There we go. And then we'll come over and grab a few some avocado. Yes, your plate should look something like this. Now we'll grab the dressing, the fresh meat dressing. Well, first let's shake it up. You know, you want to get the, okay, and just a little splash, and that should be it. Go ahead.
So this is the food Ramonita and James made. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you hit the notification button. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.